Hey, how's it going? Welcome to episode 2 of 2004scape. If you missed episode 1, make sure you go back and check it out so you know exactly what's going on and how I got to this point. Otherwise, you may be very confused. So I've spent the last month pretty much solely in Drainer Village chopping willow logs with an Addy axe. And I'm getting very close to reaching the 100k willow log milestone. Here, let me start woodcutting while I'm talking so I'm not just standing here doing nothing. Over the last month of playing this game, since all I've been doing is woodcutting, you can imagine I've picked up on some tips and tricks here and there. I've noticed things, I've kept track of the XP per hour, and I've overall learned a lot about woodcutting in 2004, and I want to share some of that stuff with you. The first thing is the tree spirit random event. The tree spirits have a 1 in 32 chance of dropping the rune axe, and what I've been doing is I just have my rune sword equipped, and when a tree spirit spawns, I just lazy flick prey melee, and that gets the job done. But if you're a lower level, something you might want to consider would be bringing a staff and some runes so that you can mage the tree spirit. And I believe you're able to mage the tree spirit over this rock if you run it over here. I haven't done it myself, but I saw other people doing it here, so that should be possible. I got another tip for you, which is a way to bank faster. If you keep your mouse kind of on the second to last row of logs, right in the middle of the second to last row, you'll see can quickly bank like that, right click, left click. I talked about this in the last video, but I'm going to reiterate because it is very important, especially if you're AFKing. You want to have the effect volume or the sound effects turned on, so that way you can hear when random events spawn. And not just for random events that spawn, but also for the random event where your axe head flies off. Because if you're not paying attention, your axe head flies off, it will despawn after like 1-2 minutes maybe, and you've essentially just lost your axe. And if you have a rune axe, that could be pretty detrimental. But with the sound effect volume on, you will hear when your axe head flies off. Something I've seen other people do, but I haven't done it myself because I'm here to AFK, but I've seen other people kill the dark wizards whenever they spawn. There's only, I think, 2 of them that spawn here. Yeah, you can see this person is doing it right now. These dark wizards drop pretty decent loot. They drop like nature runes and other kinds of runes. And maybe in the future I'll test out like an hour of dark wizards to see what the profit is like. But hey, if you're here anyways to woodcut, especially if you already have your main hand melee weapon equipped, may as well feed 2 birds with 1 scone. Something I've heard but haven't seen personally is that you can use a rune axe at level 1 woodcutting. I don't think you can equip it if you don't have the attack requirement, but I think you're still able to use a rune axe with level 1 woodcutting, which if that's the case, from what I've heard, that is not a bug, that is a feature and authentic to how it was in 2004. I was thinking again about the random where your axe head flies off, and there's a habit I've gotten into where if I'm about to log off, I don't log off while I'm woodcutting. I step away from the tree and then log off because I feel like there's a chance where I could log off on the same tick where I get that random that causes the axe head to fly off, and like I won't have known that I lost the axe head until I log back in. So just to be safe, I always do that. Same thing before a game update happens. Like if there's the countdown timer for the system update, I'm gonna step away from the tree a good like 30 seconds in advance and just log off because I don't want to risk losing my axe head. I don't care so much now because Addy axes nowadays are so cheap and money's a lot easier to come by. But once I get a rune axe, I'm gonna care a lot more about it then. I'm just a few inventories away now from getting to 100k willows. Let's take a look at my woodcutting XP. I have just over 7 mil woodcutting XP, and my average XP per hour that I've gotten with the Addy axe at willow trees in Drainer Village has been about 35k XP per hour, which means I have spent over 200 hours chopping willows. Each willow log gives you 67.5 woodcutting XP, and if we're going by 35k XP per hour, that means the amount of logs I get per hour would be 518. The reason why I've been using the Addy axe instead of a rune axe is because the rune axe was really expensive. For the longest time actually, it was the most expensive item in the game. It was like 200 to 250k back when the average moneymakers for the average player was like 10 to 15k GP per hour. It was only very recently that the rune axe came down to a price that I could reasonably afford, but by that point, or by this point really, I've gotten so relatively close to getting to 100k willow logs that I just wanted to get to 100k first because it'd make a cool title for a video knowing that I got all my willow logs with the Addy axe. But once I reach my 100k milestone, or maybe tomorrow, I will get a rune axe. It's come down in price quite a bit. It's currently 45k. Just earlier today it was like 50 to 60k. But once I deposit this inventory of willow logs, check it out, it is now a yellow stack. Every stack is yellow, but this one is still also yellow. But it's 100k. It looks so cool. It's been 200 hours in the making. The current price that people are buying willow logs for is 25 GP. People are trying to sell them for higher, and the price has been going up quite a bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if in the coming weeks it does go up to like 30, 35 GP, because man, all skilling supplies in the game have been going up recently. But I don't plan to sell too many of these willow logs. Like, I'll sell them as I need GP if I need GP, but I'd like to keep them for firemaking and eventually for fletching when that comes out with members. For now though, I'm actually going to keep on chopping because I have to edit the previous video, I have to eat dinner, I have to get the video uploaded, so I'll be chopping for a while longer. Should I just buy the rune axe now? Because like, what am I waiting for it to go down like 5 or 10k GP tomorrow? Is it really worth it when I could get 17% more logs? I don't know. Alright, I'm doing it. Oh, my sweet, beautiful cash stack of 100k. Alright, rune axe, 45k accepted. No, I just got 100k too. I was doing some math though. Hold on. Right now, say I'm chopping 500 willow logs per hour, which I think is pretty realistic, and they're worth 25 GP each, which is probably just going to be going up over time, but let's say 25 GP each. That means I'm making 12.5k GP per hour. Now, if we were to increase that by 17%, I would go from 12.5k to 14.6k. That is about an extra 2100 GP per hour because I have the rune axe over the Addy axe, not to mention the extra XP per hour, and XP is just as important, if not possibly even more important than GP. The point I'm getting to with that though is that if I chop with a rune axe over the Addy axe for 10 hours, I'll be making an extra 21k GP, which already more than pays for itself. If we're saying like the rune axe is theoretically worth like 20 to 30k, after 10 hours I will have already made up that surcharge of doing woodcutting that I'd be doing anyways, plus the extra XP on top of it. Oh man, episode 1 is going live in 30 minutes. I'm super nervous to see how people are going to react to it. Today is also a big day because it's going to be my first time training a skill that's not woodcutting. I do want to do firemaking in just a bit, but first, let's take one final look at the high scores because hopefully this will be my worst overall rank that I'm going to have ever again going forward, or at least for a while since I'm about to start actively playing the game again. I'm rank 188. I'm surprised I'm still in the top 200. I really thought that by the time I'd get back I'd be like 200 to 300. I'm really close to getting a woodcutting level. I'm 10k XP away, so I'm going to wait till I get the level and then we'll move on to firemaking. Or maybe I'll wait till the video goes up just because I'm anxious about it, and then after a little bit then we'll go on to firemaking. Oh, another thing I haven't pointed out is that there's no commas. There's no XP to next level and there's no commas, so once you get like past 1 mil XP you got to think a little bit more about where the numbers are. One more log, 93 woodcutting. What better way to break the seal of gaining levels than with a woodcutting level? Yeah, not bad. Just a casual 740k woodcutting XP to the next level when I'm getting 35, maybe 40k XP per hour now. Not bad at all for one level in 2004. Let's do it, man. It is time. It's time to finally play the game, start gaining some levels, doing something besides woodcutting, depositing the axe into the bank, or deposit all my gear into the bank. Grab out the tinderbox. Move the logs over here so it's a bit closer. Move the tinderbox there. Alright, let's do it. First time gaining XP in a skill that's not woodcutting in a long time. Currently 64 firemaking. Let's see the levels start rolling in. Gotta turn the effects off. Effect sounds. Okay, I mean, technically I have gained other levels besides woodcutting because of prayer. Over the last month, when I first started doing woodcutting, I started at exactly level 40 prayer, and I've made it all the way up to level 45 just from genie lamps. I've gone a little bit beyond 100k willows. I'm at 102k, but it's gonna be very sad to see that stat go back below 100k. Dude, this is so cool to me that I can just play for 30 minutes and get a level. I don't have to spend days and days watching the XP slowly inch closer. Wow though, wow, 65 firemaking, 777 total level. It's only up from here. I'll probably spend a while today doing firemaking because this is meant to be like a woodcutting video and firemaking is very adjacent to woodcutting, so I'm going to spend a while firemaking. That, and because firemaking is very fast level, so it's going to be super satisfying to get a lot of relatively quick levels. With firemaking, I think you can burn 1500 logs per hour if you're not standing around talking like I'm doing. If you're actually paying attention, it's like 1500 logs per hour. And with willow logs being 90 firemaking XP each, that means theoretically firemaking willow logs would be 135k XP per hour. And at this stage, it's still like only 50k XP between levels, so yeah, it's like under 30 minutes per level. I've noticed as I'm running back and forth to grab the logs out or run back to the bank afterwards, my run has very slowly been going down and not recovering back to full. So what I can do is when I have the inventory of logs, I can walk to get to the firemaking tile start spot and then run as I'm going back to the bank with my empty inventory. Or I could also walk the whole time and not even have to think about it. Like I talked about in the last video, run is very important to ration out for so many skilling methods throughout the game, and here's the very first example I'm able to show. And I'll be very curious to see when members comes out and we're able to train agility to see how much of a difference agility truly made for a run in 2004. Training agility is going to be insane though when members comes out, because I think the only courses in the game, at least that were there in May of 2004, I think it's just the Gnome course, Barbarian Outpost after you do the bar crawl, and the Willy course. And I think that's it. The Brimhaven course did not come out until July of 2004. Oh no, I recorded like a second too late. I just got 66 firemaking. Let me show you the two rows that I've been using, or the two starting tiles I've been using. So the first one is this one right here. Just next to between the fence and the tree, and I'll show you where you end up after you light 27 logs. You end up perfectly right at this tree, and in fact, because it's the last tile, you move a tile east, so it actually gets you closer to the bank. And then for the other starting tile, it doesn't have to be specific, it's just anywhere on this row around here. You end up right here with a little bit of wiggle room in case you want to start slightly to the west. No, I can't believe someone else has taken my super secret spot that I've claimed for my own that no one else is allowed to use except for me. I'll hop world. I'm gonna get it this time. I'm gonna get it. There's level 67 firemaking. When you start from this tile, sometimes the jail guard will come up and attack you, but he can't go past this tile. So at the very worst, you'll be lighting just a few fires on that side before you get there, or you can just run to this tile and start making fires. With my stats though, I can very easily tank him, and you can light the fires while he's attacking you. It does not interrupt it. This is why you should not AFK though, or leave the computer, because if you just run to the start tile here, or you light a few fires and you leave the computer, especially if you're a lower level, this jail guard could come out of nowhere and steel mace you. I was gonna say declaw spec, but steel mace is more fitting. What's crazy to me is that I feel like I haven't really even done that much firemaking, and it's my second highest or second best rank on the account behind woodcutting. I'm in the top 50 already with just level 67, and I went to the firemaking high scores, and if you go to rank 1, the rank 1 person isn't even 99 yet, and even if you're just using willows being 135k XP per hour, it's 100 hours to 99. You would expect that after a month and 10 days of the server being out, you would have thought that one person by now would have 99 firemaking, but no one's gone for it, or no one's done it yet. I think the only two 99s in the game are 99 woodcutting and 99, oh, there's two 99 cookings now. And I know 100 hours is a lot of time, but it seems like every skill has at least one person, if not multiple people, that are specializing in just doing that one skill. And you would think, especially with how fast firemaking is, that there'd be at least one person, if not multiple people, rushing firemaking to get to 99 because it's so fast, but I guess not. Maybe it's the cost of it, because now if you wanted to buy 100k willow logs, because they're 25 GP each rather than 5 GP like they were a few weeks ago, it would be very expensive if you didn't chop the logs yourself. I mean, the 100k willow logs would be 2.5, maybe 3 mil GP, and that would only be 9 mil XP. That wouldn't even get you to 99. And you'd have to find enough people collectively to get 100k willow logs from, because I don't think there's a crazy amount in the market. Like, you're probably just buying a few thousand at a time from people. 68 firemaking. Going back to what I was talking about before with running versus walking, if you have your run on and you hold down control, you still run. But if you have walk turned on and you hold down control, you will run. So that could come in handy when if you want to keep your run off, you can just walk to the spot you're going to light the fires at. And after you finish your inventory, you could hold down control to run back to the bank and use your run then. Oh, wait, I wanted to mention this because I noticed this a couple times. There's this tree here. I misclicked it multiple times and it's like my character is trying to chop the tree. Let me test that out. Can you actually chop that? Can you actually chop the tree over the fence? No way. 2004 is awesome. Is it just this tree, or does that work with every tree in the game? Like, there's another one over here that's just right next to the fence. Can you... No way it works. No, it happened. The stack of willow logs is now below 100k. But I am still going to be going back to woodcutting to AFK probably every single day because I like to AFK while I eat dinner. And you don't want to ever actually go away from your keyboard. You don't want to leave the computer when you're playing this game unless you don't have anything valuable on you. But right now, with only having free to play unlocked, woodcutting is really the only low intensity activity in the game. There is fishing, like you can fly fish in Barbarian Village, but it's a long walk to the bank. It's probably not worth walking to the bank. Then you'd have to drop them, or you could also cook them, but if you cook them, you have to cook them one at a time. There's no make all or make X option. So until Members comes out in 20 or 19 days from now, I'll probably be doing at least an hour or two of woodcutting every single night because it's really the only low intensity activity in the game. But once the members content comes into the game, I'm going to stop woodcutting with my AFK time, and I'm going to have a new AFK activity, which is going to be fly fishing in Shiloh Village, because there is a bank in Shiloh Village that's very close to the fishing spots. I could bank the fish there and then cook it later at my leisure whenever I want to actively play. I've already burned through, pun intended, about 2k willow logs, and I was just thinking about the opportunity cost of doing that in like the 1 to 2 hours, and I've effectively spent 50k GP on logs because I could have theoretically sold those 2k logs if I wanted to. Pretty pricey skill, huh? By the way, let me know if you could think of, or if you know, any low intensity activities, even if they're not as AFK or low intensity as woodcutting. I would be interested to get some ideas. Even if it's stuff in members, I'd be curious to hear some ideas because I think it's fun to theorycraft and plan ahead. Because right now, all I got for even when members comes out is just woodcutting and fishing. Nice. I just got a genie random, and I've heard people say that when you get a lamp from a genie, you should hold on to it because it like makes it more likely you get a random, or makes it more likely your next random will be a genie. I have no idea if that's true. That kind of sounds like one of those rumors that we would spread around as kids. And that's one of the great things about O4scape is that I guess you could check through the source code if you were a little bit more technologically advanced, but a lot of this stuff isn't really documented online, or it's hard to find. There's not a wiki that we can just search through all the answers for. I am just going to use the lamp though, because I would prefer to have extra inventory space for firemaking. This is a very important level because it ends in a 0. Fun fact about RuneScape in 2004 is that there were no mod crowns back then. There was no silver, or at least in this iteration, May of 2004, there were no gold or silver crowns to specify if someone was a JMod or a PMod when they typed in game. I'm not trying to brag or anything, I got mods in my DMs. No, but I actually was so confused at first because I have my private chat set to friends. I was like, whoa, wait, who is this messaging me? Actually, this isn't even on the osrs wiki. I had to go to the RS3 wiki to find this about player moderators. Apparently, according to this at least, player moderators or PMods weren't even in the game until June of 2004. There's an update we can click that goes along with it. June 14th, 2004. We are very pleased to announce today the introduction of in-game player moderators. To help you spot them in-game, they've added crown icons which will appear next to a moderator's name in the chat log when they speak, for both PMods and for staff members. Going back to this page though, this is so interesting. You can pause here and read this if you want to, but in 2001, there were 5 players that were added to be player moderators for RuneScape 1 at the time, and there was no way to know that they were moderators until they used the powers, because they had the same exact powers as the Jagex staff members had. They could teleport around the map and whatnot, but that team was disbanded in December 01. No, I just skipped through it again. The 71 firemaking. We have the technology. We have the technology. I have the replay buffer up now, so we can save this clip. Yes, yes. We have the technology. There's level 73. Another milestone that happens when you reach level 73 in a skill is you also hit 1 mil XP in that skill. It is dinner time for me, so I'm going to go AFK woodcutting, but instead of chopping willows, I figured I should switch it up, and I want to try chopping yews because I have the rune axe now. My woodcutting is a pretty high level, and I've never tried chopping yews in 2004scape, so I at least want to test it out and see how it is. I don't know what the best spot would be to chop yews, or what yews are closest to the bank. I know of Edgeville immediately. That's the first thing that came to mind. So I'm going to try it here. I see there's a couple people here already. I'll probably hop worlds to try and find an empty world, but the logs are coming in kind of, well, it's only been 2 logs so far, but they've come in pretty quickly. And yeah, turn the game sound effects back on. If we look at the price of U-logs, they're currently buying for about 200. and yew longbows unstrung out for 384. So in preparation for members coming out, maybe the price of the yew logs will be going up even more. Dude, these trees take a long time to respawn. I might just have to hop worlds now. Like, you might really need to get an empty world, or maybe find a 3 yew tree spot or something, because it's taking a long time. I'm taking a look at the world map to find the spots for yew trees, and I'm pretty sure all the yew trees are marked with the tree icon. So the spots for yew trees besides Edgeville, looks like we have south of Falador, we have the Lumbridge Woods here, there's behind the Verrock Palace, although there's no GE with the bank here for fast banking. It is a bit of a run. Behind the Lumberyard, pretty far away. It's been around 1 hour, or maybe close to an hour, because I did leave the computer a couple times to grab more food. But here's the amount of yew logs I got in this around 1 hour. I got 100, I had one in the bank already, so I got 166. It's probably at my level with the rune axe, maybe like 150 to 200 yew logs per hour. With the current prices, that means that I'd be making around 30 to 40k GP per hour, and the XP would be, it's 175 XP per yew log, so it'd be around 30k XP per hour. So it's like 3 times the GP per hour is chopping willows, but maybe like 20% less XP per hour. There is a lot of standing around though. Even when I'm just by myself, I'm waiting around a lot for the trees to respawn. And if there's even just one other person here, I mean, it's probably really not worth doing unless you have a world to yourself. I'm done woodcutting for tonight. Back to firemaking. Well, little change of scenery, doing some firemaking in Edgeville here to get level 74. Wait, there's a space. Have all the level up messages for firemaking had a space in it? I just noticed that now. I checked back in the clips and my last firemaking level up also had the space in the chat box message. I'm looking at the XP to my next level and I'm getting to the point now where it's about 1 hour per firemaking level rather than the 20 to 30 minutes it was 10 levels ago. I'm gonna go do my next firemaking level in Verrock, but since I'm in Edgeville, I wanna show you a couple of the differences that aren't in osrs. The first thing you may notice is that there is no furnace here, and along with that, there's no door on the east side of the bank. In fact, in the beginning of osrs, there wasn't even a furnace in Edgeville. It was added later on in 2015, which means even in 2007, or at least August of 2007, there was not a furnace in Edgeville. According to the RuneScape 3 wiki, the furnace was added to Edgeville in September of 2007. So that's just a month after the old school backup was taken from. I just noticed in the chat box as well, there's also a space in firemaking, but when you go to the skill, there is no space. And of course, I can't leave Edgeville without showing you that when you start going north, you get this message about the wilderness, and there is no wildy ditch. You just keep going straight north, and eventually you will get into the wildy. Okay. Off to Verrock. I don't know why I'm walking there. I'm at the point now where I can easily afford the law runes, which are like 400 or 450 GP each, and it's definitely worth using them. But it's also kind of nice just strolling around the game, taking in the scenery, looking at all the models of all the NPCs, and it's nice sometimes to just sit back and relax and enjoy. Whoa, wait, there's a random... I just got logged off, and I logged back in, and there's like random genies. It was so weird. It was like connection lost, and then I really wanted to make sure that I didn't accidentally skip through this level because I want to show this level up message when I get 75 firemaking. When I click here to continue, you'll see, there's a message. Members can now burn magic logs. This is very important to get this message because back in 2004, there were no skill guides when you click on the panels. So the only way you could find out that you unlocked something at a level is by actually getting the level. Or maybe by trying to do an activity that you can't do. I'm not sure, maybe it tells you the level that you need if you don't already have it. But other than that, I don't know if there are any other in-game ways to know what levels you unlock certain things at. But the great thing about the internet is that it makes communities get together and collectively put information together on websites such as Sal's Realm, RuneHQ, Tippet. I want to do an update where I'm at on the high scores, specifically for firemaking. So the interesting thing about the high scores in 2004 is that there was an odd amount of people per page on the high scores, both literally and metaphorically. There is 21 people per page, and my firemaking rank is now 17, which means I am now on the front page for firemaking at only level 74. I feel like I haven't really spent that much time doing firemaking. You can see that a lot of people stopped firemaking in the level 74 to level 76 range. Maybe I'll do a couple more levels just to get a few extra ranks. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to do firemaking, but it feels really good doing firemaking because firemaking is a skill that isn't really going to speed up when members comes out. I mean, maple logs will come into the game, but they might be expensive and not worth the cost, possibly. Definitely don't want to use I don't want to use U logs because that would be very expensive. So I have the feeling that like if I were to theoretically go to 99 or a really high firemaking level, I'd probably be doing willows anyways. So while members isn't in the game right now, it kind of makes sense to do the skills that aren't really sped up much or at all once members does come out. Oh, I got 76 firemaking. I'll save the replay buffer. Man, I really like firemaking in Verrock, specifically from the Verrock East Bank, and I'll show you why. So when I grab out my full inventory of logs, you know, my weight is really heavy, so I want to walk, but it is a very short walk to the starting tile or tiles. I use this row and this row. It doesn't matter if I start on this tile or this tile, they're both equally as close to the bank. And I'll show you, I'll light my line of fires. And when I finish my line of fires, you know, my inventory is empty, so my weight is at 0, and I could run. This is basically the maximum distance I can get away from really any bank, and I run the whole way back while my inventory is empty. And my run does very slowly drain over time, but for the most part, I think this bank is a really good option to do firemaking from. You know what, technically, it would be better to start from the eastern tile rather than the western tile, because after you finish your line, if you start from here, you will be one tile closer to the bank. The street sweeper or the cleaner wasn't added to Verrock until 2007. It was May 29th, 2007, but thankfully ashes will despawn on their own. But when he is in the game, or in old school, he actually sweeps up the ashes and they disappear when he walks over them and sweeps, which is pretty cool. It's going to be a few more years before King Rold has a bit more room in the budget for a street sweeper. I didn't point this out yet, I don't know if I showed it, but the Verrock fountain, it is all one. You know how in old school it's split up into 4? I was looking at the update right here. This is actually the same day that they added the street sweepers, May 29th, 07. I guess that's also when they split the fountain up into 4 instead of the 1. This is the OG fountain though. I was thinking about water sources after seeing the fountain, and I just got flashbacks to running from the Verrock East Bank to this fountain, this little fountain right here, to fill up vials for vials of water. When members comes out and we have Herblore in the game, it might be kind of tricky to get vials of water because I don't think there's too many shops that sell the filled ones with water. I think there's a decent amount that sell the empty vials, but it might be tricky to get full vials of water. So it might be easier to get empty vials and fill them up yourself, or that could be a moneymaker, filling up empty vials. Because the stocks for the vials of water, I assume will probably be perpetually at 0 at all the shops that sell them. Imagine the resources for training Herblore are so scarce though that you have to spend millions of GP just to get to like level 40. I'm gonna be curious to see how expensive Herblore is gonna be on release. Yeah, sorry man, I'm probably not gonna make any videos on this server, unlucky. I think the vials of water only restock once per minute. I could be wrong. You could check the source code, or you could also download the source code and you could run members right now locally and try out all the stuff in members, including you could check how fast the shops restock by actually going there in game. There's all the dev commands you could do. I'll link a video in the description, which I also linked in the previous video description, of how to set up the local server using the source code if you want to try it out for yourself. Well, I think the only thing that isn't in the source code right now is Legends Quest and maybe Tourist Trap. I think those are the only 2 things that aren't complete. I just thought of an idea. I probably should have started doing this earlier, especially if I knew I was going to be firemaking here for a while, but this inventory, I brought my cash stack with me because there's the archery shop right here, and I could buy arrows from the archery shop every once in a while, especially if the stock is high. I could check it every once in a while. Some people do hop around to buy from the archery shop, although with the hop timer nowadays, I don't know if it's as worth it. Oh, the stock was just full. In that one inventory, I checked right before this inventory and it was at 1,000 steel arrows. Now it's down to 900. I was going to say I was going to buy like 100 steel arrows because the price of steel arrows, they're trading, people are buying them for like 25 to 30 GP and selling them for even more, but you could realistically probably pretty easily get 30 GP for them. And when the stock is full at 100, I still have it in the chat box a little bit up here, they go for 12 GP each from the shop. The bronze arrows have a maximum price of 6 GP, although because they're so cheap from here, they're like always bought out, and people are buying them for like 10 to 12 or 13 GP, so you could double your money, but the problem is everyone's buying these out, including myself right now. What about iron arrows? They're currently 18 GP, and people are buying for 20 GP, so probably not worth buying the iron arrows at this stock. Yeah, when the steel arrows get down to this stock, I mean, they get really expensive. But maybe every once in a while, I'll bring my cash stack with me and buy out some of the bronze arrows and maybe the steel arrows if they're at full stock. I just realized when I took out my whole cash stack, I forgot to put one back in, because usually what you want to do when you take an item out, it holds the spot until you close your bank. So you grab the stack out, then put one back in. That's what you want to do, because there's no insert option. You could only swap items. So now if I want to have to put this back, oh yeah, it also doesn't scroll the bank up either. So if I want to put this back in the first spot, I'm now going to have to move every single item in the bank down one, like that. Although with only 60 bank slots available, I suppose there's not too much to even mess up in the first place. Yo, I got some GP from a random event while I was lighting this line of fires. It's almost like a sign that the game wants me to go check the shop stock and buy out some arrows and not have to spend extra time grabbing GP from the bank this inventory. Yo, I thought of another idea. I still have to get rid of a bunch of unstrung symbols, and there's not really much of a market for them with the other players. So every once in a while when I do a line of fires, I'll grab 5 of them out of the bank to sell to the shop. I'll get a little bit of GP, 340 apparently for 5 of them, and then I'll come over to the archery shop, buy out the bronze arrows that are in stock, and I'm pretty sure it's just like an osrs where it goes down by 1 per minute in the general store, so I have to wait at least 5 minutes before doing that again. I still have about 200 of these to get rid of. I really want to free up that bank slot because these have no use for me. And this is really going to be the best way to do it, since shop hopping, Hopscape isn't a thing anymore, and like I said, no one's buying these on the markets. I got this one, level 77 Firemaking, and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do Firemaking for the rest of the day today, and then tomorrow morning, we'll see how I'm feeling. Aw, what a cute symbiotic relationship. I make the fires, and I get to record this person using my fires, except I think that that's his own fire that he made, but let's pretend it's mine. Whoa, no way. What are the odds? Okay. I've been putting all my genie lamps into prayer, but I feel like I should be putting them into runecraft because runecraft is probably a slower skill in terms of XP per hour, because you can always buy more bones, but you can't buy runecraft XP. Well, I guess you kind of can buy runners, but it's not necessarily consistent or reliable. But for now, I'm still going to put my lamps into prayer. 450 XP, that's the equivalent of 30 giants, 30 big bones. And big bones are currently being sold for over 100 GP each, but if we say they're 100 GP each, that's like getting 3k GP per genie lamp. Hey, is anyone looking for the lumberjack convention? Wait a second, it said I can't light a fire here when the door is closed, but when the door is open, which it must be open by default, someone must have like manually shut it because it's always open. When the door is open, I am able to light a fire. I wonder why someone shut the door. I really gotta know, is it like that in the osrs as well? If the door is closed, you can't light a fire if it's open. Oh, interesting. Never knew that. The high scores still only update every 30 minutes. It does not update at all on logout. It's just every 30-minute milestone. And I wanted to show you this right here before I refresh. My total XP is just under 10 mil, and once I refresh, I've now reached 10 mil total XP. The firemaking rank is really getting up there now too. Rank 11 for firemaking. I think I can make it into the top 10 today, as long as I keep going, which I will be. I skipped through it again. I don't feel like saving the replay buffer, but there's level 78 firemaking. I've been watching a bunch of Forescape videos lately, and also lurking in the Discord to get ideas of things to do. Because remember before I was talking about trying to come up with AFK training methods? Well, I found another one that a lot of people were actually talking about, which is for AFK combat training. If you go to the Black Knight's Fortress, the Black Knights in there are aggressive towards you. However, like all other aggressive monsters in the game, they're only aggressive towards you until you get above twice their combat level. And unfortunately for me, I'm 62 combat, and the Black Knights are 31 combat, which means once I gain one more level, I won't be able to do the method. So the method's basically already dead to me. I won't have a chance to use it, but hopefully this can help out at least one of you. Okay, wait, I need to show this. So remember in the last video, I was talking about how certain special characters don't show up. And when you try to type a heart in game, it shows up as a heart for you, the person that typed it, but everyone else just sees a 3. I'm finally able to show that now, that someone else attempted to type a heart. I mean, I assume they were just randomly typing 3. And so for the first week of the game, I was so confused why people kept typing 3 to me. I thought there was maybe some clan that had some like inside joke about 3, that was their catchphrase or something. And it took me like a week to figure out that people were trying to type hearts. I remember I was mining and some guy came up to me and asked if I can mine him an ore, like a copper ore or something. I was like, yeah, and then he typed a heart. I was like, oh, you need 3 of them? He's like, no, just 1. Looking back now, though, is so funny. There must be someone hopping around the world selling these to the general store. Of course, like the one other item that's in here happens to be the one item that I'm trying to sell, because I just hopped from another world because another world had a stock of these in here, and yeah, I guess someone else is hopping around doing that, so I'm gonna have to wait a little bit longer before getting back to selling these. Why is my mini-map facing slightly to the east, whereas on the screen it looks like it's directly north and south? It's like your tires are out of alignment, but my mini-map is out of alignment with the game window. But when I get the mini-map facing directly north like that, then in-game it is still out of alignment. There's level 79 Firemaking. I'm getting to the point now where it's more like 2 hours per level. This is like close to 200k XP to the next level. And while the efficient rate, like I said, is 135k XP per hour, I'm probably getting closer to like 100k XP per hour, maybe even a little bit less. I'm starting to fall asleep at the computer because it has been a long day at the long day factory, but I really wanted to get this level before I go to bed. Usually I would save the level for the morning because I feel like getting a level right when you wake up is a great way to start the day, gets you pumped and motivated to get going with your gaming. But you know what? I deserve this level tonight. So let's turn the music on and burn one more log. Addy fire making. Okay. Right before I'm about to log off for the night, I saw that I still had my high scores page from when I woke up, like before I had refreshed anything for today, and my rank was 180 with 786 total. I gained 6 levels today, and I lost a rank, gaining 6 overall levels. Just goes to show you how much competition there is right now for those ranks. Good morning. I'm finally finishing up the last batch of the unstrung symbols to sell to the general store. And with that, I freed up a very valuable bank space. I had 196 of these unstrung symbols to start with, and I made an average of 68 GP per. So I made about 13.3k GP from selling these to the general store, but of course I did spend a lot of that GP back on arrows. Now let's see how many arrows I have collected, or how many arrows I have total, because I haven't really been paying attention as I've been buying them. I have them lined up neatly here. I have 3,800 bronze arrows and 1,200 steel arrows. I'm probably going to keep all the bronze arrows for myself to train range with, but I will sell the steel arrows, even though the steel arrows are better. I feel like it's not much of a difference. Because, wait, let's look at the bonuses on them. So bronze arrows, they have, wait, does it not even show up here? Or do they just not have a bonus? Oh, well, it doesn't even show up here, okay. In osrs at least, the bronze arrows have a range strength of 7, steel arrows are plus 16, so I think that's 2 extra max hits, but the only time I'd be ranging would be like AFKing lesser demons. I really don't need max DPS when I'm AFKing. Alright, we are in World 1 now. We're going to try to sell some steel arrows. It's not even peak hours right now, so I don't know if there's going to be a lot of people, or how many people there's going to be at Verrock West, but I'll probably try to sell all these and I'll keep the placeholder in the bank, or maybe sell like 1,000 of them. You could see all the people mining S. S is a pretty good moneymaker right now. I think you mine like 1k per hour. And they're currently worth 40 GP, which is insane because from a fresh account, well, you probably won't be getting 1k essence per hour with a bronze pick level 1 mining, but soon enough, once you get to like 30 or something, you'll be making like 30, 40k plus GP per hour. Here we go, selling steel arrows, 28 GP. Selling steel arrows, 28 GP. Yeah, there's not too many people here right now, so maybe this isn't the best time or example to be showing you the people in Verrock West. I saw in the marketplace that Adamant is buying steel arrows for 27 GP, so it's only 1 GP off from what I'm trying to sell them for. It's not worth trying to stand around here for 10 minutes trying to get an extra 1,200 GP for these. It's kind of the opportunity cost of merching or getting merched, because merching is probably the best moneymaker in the game, but you don't gain XP while you're merching. I suppose you could be alching at the bank or doing some kind of bank standing skill, but otherwise you're standing around buying and selling stuff, when personally I'd rather be playing the game. And kind of the main point of the series is exploring the historical differences between 2004 and now in OSRS, or even 2007 OSRS, or I guess that'd be 2013 OSRS. Yeah, I'll sell all those steel arrows that I have. I should get 34.4k from it. Nice. Double check as always. Sweet. Cash stack is now up to 71.7k GP. For the bronze arrows, there's people buying them for 12 GP each, so theoretically if I were to sell the 3,800 100 bronze arrows for 12 GP. That'd be another 45k that I could get out of it. One thing I really love about this game is that the player base feels so tight-knit. It's like everyone knows everyone, or everyone at least knows of everyone else. I'm trying to free up some bank space right now, and I don't know why, for some reason early on I cut an emerald, like I had gems and I cut an emerald, and at that point I realized, wait, I'm just gonna be getting uncut emeralds and uncut gems. You never, I don't think you really ever get cut gems. Oh no, you know what it is? It's from Pirate's Treasure you get an emerald. And so from there on, whenever I got the uncut emeralds as drops, I would always cut them to save a bank space. So now I've just had sapphires, rubies. I had diamonds, but I sold them a while ago. I had them all uncut except for the emeralds. I go to the general store and buy a chisel every time I get an emerald now. I probably should just sell the stack of cut emeralds and start collecting uncut emeralds. So every time I get this drop from giants or any monster, I don't have to go to the general store, buy a chisel, cut it, then drop the chisel, because I'm not going to be committing a bank slot to chisels, especially when they're so easy to get everywhere. So this is a pretty common thing I've had to do quite a lot. Drop and back to the bank. Maybe I will. I see there's some people that are buying emeralds. So 600 GP, yeah, I'll do that. I assume when Members comes out, well, I don't know what's going to happen with emeralds, but a lot of people will probably make Rings of Dueling, especially for doing fire rune crafting. Rings of Dueling will probably be used a lot for that. So I don't know how that's going to affect the price in the future. There's probably going to be more emeralds coming into the game with Members coming out, but I'd prefer to have the GP now anyways. There's no one online right now who's buying either cut emeralds or uncut emeralds, so we'll skip it for now. I feel like for more niche items like emeralds, which I would classify that as right now at least, it's not worth spamming World 1v West to try and sell them. I feel like it'd be better to do that for more common items like coal, nature runes, runescence, stuff like that, at least for now. Maybe when Members comes out, that's going to change things, or when there's more players online, because there's not too many online at the moment. So for more niche items, it's probably better to use the trading place or the marketplace. As we're winding down here, let's take a look at the high scores. My overall rank is 183. So I'm losing ranks. That's crazy. As for my firemaking rank, I did make it into the top 10, and not just top 10, but I'm ranked number 8. I'm still ranked 5 for woodcutting, and then just to show you what the firemaking high scores currently looks like, is kind of like keeping track of this for historical reasons, I guess. This is what we got for firemaking on March 12th. Yeah, I've had a weird sleep schedule ever since coming back from the UK. I've been on like a normie schedule, going to bed at like midnight or 1 a.m. and then waking up at 7 a.m. It's crazy. I don't even know the last time I've been on that kind of sleep schedule. I went from level 64 to 80 firemaking, and I used up like 19k logs in this video. So we'll just say 20k logs. And if the logs are worth 25 GP each, that means the opportunity cost of the logs I burnt effectively means that I spent 500k GP to get those levels and get that firemaking XP in this video. But man, some people just really love to watch the world burn. Thank you. Oh, let me show the U logs as well, because I spent a little bit more time chopping U's, and I got close to 400 U logs, and they're going for like 200 GP each right now. I feel like that's really low, especially compared to what they're going to be in the future. Maybe I'll sell them if I need more GP at some point, but this would theoretically be worth 80k GP. We're going to end the video here right where we started it, and at the place I know best in 04, Drainer Willows. I need something to AFK while I work on this video and get it uploaded. Thank you so much for still being here 40 plus minutes in. That's really cool. I appreciate you sticking around. Thank you very much again for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you have a great day, and I hope to see you again next time with more adventures in 2004.